The history of the Madra Kingdom. Long before the mighty Mauryan Empire united much of India. Before Alexander the Great crossed the Indus. And centuries before the rise of the Sikh kingdoms. There existed a prosperous land in the heart of ancient Punjab. A kingdom praised in the Mahabharata. Mentioned in the Rig Veda. Known for its brave warriors, skilled horsemen, and wealthy merchants. Its capital was one of the greatest cities of ancient northwestern India. Its kings shaped the politics of the Mahabharata. Its strategic location made it a crossroads between India, Central Asia, and Persia. This was the Kingdom of Madra, one of the most influential kingdoms of ancient Punjab, yet today, one of its least remembered. In this documentary, we journey back more than 3,000 years to uncover the origins of Madra, explore its people, and trace how a tribal society evolved into one of the great kingdoms of the northwestern Indian subcontinent. Where was the Madra Kingdom? To understand Madra, we must first understand its geography. The kingdom was located in the central region of ancient Punjab, occupying much of what is now northeastern Pakistan, with influence extending into parts of northwestern India. Most historians place its core territory between the Ravi and Chenab rivers, although its exact boundaries changed over time. To the west lay the kingdom of Gandhara, famous for its capital Taxila. To the northwest lived the Kambodjas, renowned for their horses and cavalry. To the east stretched the fertile plains that would later become the heartland of the Kuru and Panchala kingdoms. To the south lay the wider Indus basin and the routes leading toward Sindh. This location gave Madra extraordinary strategic importance. It stood at the meeting point of civilizations. Trade caravans traveling between India, Iran, Central Asia, and Afghanistan often passed through Madra. Merchants carried lapis lazuli from Afghanistan. Fine horses from Central Asia. Luxury textiles. Precious metals. And spices from the Indian plains. For centuries, Madra prospered because it stood where worlds met. The history of Madra did not begin with kings. Long before kingdoms emerged, the fertile plains of Punjab had already witnessed thousands of years of human settlement. The Sawanian hunter-gatherers lived in the region hundreds of thousands of years ago. Later came the agricultural communities of Mehrgarh, followed by the magnificent Indus Valley Civilization, whose cities flourished across northwestern South Asia between approximately 2600 and 1900 BCE. Although the great Harappan cities eventually declined, the region remained densely populated. Villages continued to thrive. Agriculture expanded. Trade persisted. Over many centuries, new cultural traditions emerged from the interaction between existing populations and Indo-Aryan-speaking communities that gradually became established in northwestern India. It was during this long period of cultural transformation that the ancestors of the Madras entered history. The Madras in the Vedic Age. The earliest references to the Madras appear not in inscriptions or monuments, but in ancient Sanskrit literature. The Rig Veda, the oldest surviving text of India, composed between roughly 1500 and 1200 BCE, reflects the world of the early Vedic peoples in the northwestern subcontinent. Although the Rig Veda does not describe the Madra kingdom in the later political sense, it preserves traditions about tribes inhabiting the greater Punjab region. By the later Vedic period, approximately 1200 to 800 BCE, the Madras had become recognized as one of the important peoples of northwestern India. Later Vedic texts, including the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad and other early Sanskrit works, mention the Madras alongside neighboring peoples such as the Gandharas, Kambodjas, and Kurus. These references indicate that the Madras were already known throughout northern India as a distinct community. Unlike the centralized empires that would appear centuries later, early Madra society was organized around tribes and clans. Leadership rested with chieftains whose authority depended upon military ability, family prestige, and the support of tribal assemblies. Gradually, these tribal structures evolved into hereditary kingdoms. Who exactly were the Madras? This question continues to interest historians. Most scholars believe the Madras were one of several Indo-Aryan-speaking groups that became established in Punjab during the late Vedic period. However, this does not mean the region was suddenly occupied by newcomers. Modern historical research, supported by archaeology, linguistics, and genetics, suggests that the culture of ancient Punjab developed through centuries of interaction between existing populations and incoming Indo-Aryan-speaking communities. As historian Ramallah Thapar emphasizes, ancient identities were rarely based on a single origin. Instead, communities evolved gradually through cultural exchange, intermarriage, migration, and political alliances. By the first millennium BCE, the Madras had developed their own regional identity while sharing many religious, linguistic, and cultural traditions with neighboring Vedic societies. Life in early Madra. The people of Madra lived in one of the most fertile regions of South Asia. The rivers of Punjab deposited rich alluvial soils ideal for farming. Fields produced wheat, barley, lentils, sesame, and other crops. Cattle formed the backbone of the rural economy. They provided milk, meat, leather, and draft power for agriculture. Like many northwestern kingdoms, Madra also became famous for horse breeding. Ancient literary sources repeatedly associate Punjab with excellent horses, and the cavalry of northwestern India would later become highly respected throughout the subcontinent. Villages formed the basic unit of society. Most homes were constructed from mud bricks, timber, reeds, and clay. People practiced weaving, pottery, metalworking, carpentry, and bead-making. Markets gradually developed as trade expanded between villages and neighboring regions. The economy grew steadily as merchants exchanged agricultural products for metals, horses, textiles, and luxury goods. The religious life of the Madras closely resembled that of other Vedic communities. They worshipped deities such as Indra, Agni, Varuna, and Soma. Sacred fire rituals, known as yajnas, occupied an important place in religious life. Priests recited hymns that had been transmitted orally for generations. These hymns, eventually compiled into the Vedas, formed the foundation of later Hindu religious traditions. Society became increasingly organized. Warriors protected the kingdom. Priests performed religious ceremonies. Farmers cultivated the land. Merchants connected Madra with distant markets. Although later texts describe the fourfold Varna system, historians emphasize that social organization during this early period remained flexible and continued to evolve over time. Madra and its neighbors. Madra did not develop in isolation. It formed part of a network of powerful northwestern kingdoms. To the northwest stood Gandhara, whose capital at Taxila would later become one of the greatest centers of learning in the ancient world. Beyond Gandhara lay Cambodia, famous for horses and long-distance trade. To the east were the Kurus, whose political and religious influence shaped much of later Vedic culture. Further southeast were the Panchalas, another major kingdom of northern India. Diplomatic marriages, commercial exchanges, religious traditions, and occasional warfare linked these kingdoms together. Rather than existing as isolated states, they formed an interconnected political landscape. The rise of the Madra Kingdom. Between approximately 800 and 600 BCE, political organization became increasingly sophisticated across northern India. Population growth encouraged larger settlements. Agricultural productivity increased. Trade routes expanded. Power gradually shifted from tribal chiefs to hereditary kings. It was during this period that the Kingdom of Madra emerged as an organized political state. Although the precise date of its formation remains unknown, most historians agree that by the 6th century BCE, Madra had become one of the important kingdoms of northwestern India. Its rulers controlled fertile agricultural lands and important commercial routes connecting India with Central Asia and the Iranian plateau. This strategic position would soon make Madra an important participant in the political struggles of ancient South Asia. The capital, Sagala. The political heart of Madra was Sagala, identified with modern Sialkot in Pakistan. Its exact origins remain uncertain, but archaeological evidence suggests continuous occupation for many centuries. Located near major trade routes, Sagala developed into an important commercial center. Merchants, craftsmen, soldiers, and travelers from many regions visited the city. Its prosperity reflected the wealth of the kingdom itself. Centuries later, Sagala would become famous again as the capital of the Indo-Greek king Menander, but its history began long before the Greeks arrived. Already during the first millennium BCE, it was one of the leading urban centers of ancient Punjab. By the 6th century BCE, the Madra Kingdom had become an established regional power. Its fertile lands supported prosperous agriculture. Its merchants connected India with Central Asia. Its warriors earned widespread respect. Its capital flourished as a center of trade. And its royal family would soon become immortalized in the pages of India's greatest epic. In the next episode, we will explore the golden age of Madra, meet its most famous ruler, King Shalaya, discover the kingdom's role in the Mahabharata, examine its economy and culture, and understand why Madra became one of the most influential kingdoms of ancient Punjab.